Hi guys, happy Sunday. So today I wanted to address so many questions that have been coming at me, have been coming at my staff in regards to what exactly can a daycare provider, whether in-home or facility-based, what are some of the most important or the most common daycare business expenses that are deductible for us? So today I wanted to go over 3 of those daycare expenses that are deductible to you guys. The first being business vehicle. You guys, as a daycare owner or a daycare provider, you are entitled to deduct business expenses associated with the daycare vehicles. And these vehicles are used for field trips. They're used for taking your students to the movie theater. These vehicles can be used for if you are going to purchase supplies for your business or any ordinary or necessary expense for your daycare, whether in-home or facility-based. You are able to deduct what they call the standard mileage rate. Please keep in mind, it's very important that you get with your daycare accountant or your CFO for your daycare to inform you of what the standard mileage rate is, because this rate does change annually. I believe for 2021, I believe the rate may be 56% per mile. I have to look back at my my chart, but I'm sure it's 56 cents per mile for the 2021 year. But as I said, this standard rate does change. It does fluctuate every year. So it's very important that your daycare accountant who you have on board informs you of that and lets you know that at the end of the year when you're talking about taking the deduction for business expenses such as the vehicle, okay? The next thing I want to talk about is the food. The food for a daycare, whether it's an in-home daycare or whether it is a facility-based daycare, the food is a deductible business expense. It is very, there's a simplified method called the simplified food method that most daycare owners, most daycare providers, they take at the end of the year if they are not keeping a direct track of the actual expenses that they incur for food for their daycare. It's called the simplified food expense. But I do encourage daycare owners to keep track specifically of all of their food intake, all of their food purchases throughout the year, just in case your actual expenses come out to be a little bit more than that simplified method for the food business expense write-off. So that is definitely, you should always keep track of all your business expenses anyway, but that is another point as to why you want to keep track, because you want to take the business expense that gives you the most bang for your buck, if that makes sense, okay? So it really goes into more detail with the food expense deduction for daycare providers. As I said, it's just very important that you have a daycare accountant on your team or a CFO for your daycare provider who can speak with you more in depth about, okay, for your financial picture, for your daycare, what specifically can you take a business deduction for in regards to the food expense, okay? So the last thing that I want to speak about is going to be the business home office. I'm sorry, facility-based daycare owners, this is not for you. You are not allowed to take this home business office expense because you are facility-based. But for my daycare owners who are in-home, this business deduction is for you. There is a percentage called the Times Square percentage that calculates the amount of expenses you can take for the different expenses that you've incurred throughout the year for your home that are strictly applied to your daycare. And so what this time space percentage does calculate, it calculates the space that you use for your daycare, and it also calculates the amount of time that you provide this service, your service of creating daycare services to the parents. Also including any cleanup time, any after hour time, all of that is included in your space time percentage. Again, I say get with your daycare accountant, get with your CFO. They are better to inform you of the ins and outs, the more specifics of how it relates to you at the end of the year when it's time to file your federal tax return. If you guys have any questions, any concerns, please, there is a link below this video. Go ahead, click the link below, set up a free 15-minute strategy session, myself or someone from my staff will reach out to you, and we will make sure that you are on the right path.